Now, we move from the breastfeeding aspect and to birth aspect. You cannot have a child if you have mastectomy. Now we know that you can have a child. Now we know that you can have a child even without breast, okay? Now we move to another thing. Beauty. Beauty. What society has made us believe is beautiful. What society has made us believe is beautiful, right? Which is, you find people in some cultures, they will be insulting women with tiny breasts, right? And they will value those ones with big breasts. And then other cultures are opposite. Other cultures are opposite, right? They value tiny breast, then they despise big breast. Okay? And when I say they, it is men. Men. Heterosexual. Alright? There is heterosexual, there is bisexual, there are all those things. The heterosexual. Okay? Now, if you are somebody who lives in such a society and you are facing mastectomy, do you know that many women refuse? Do you know that many women refuse to have mastectomy done because of the aspect of beauty? They say, I just can't live like that. I can't walk without breast. How will I look? How will my husband look at me? And that's why you ask yourself, why does this woman come alive the way she does? Why do I come alive? What's the other reason why I come alive the way I am? Very soon, I'm coming live with a woman from, I think, West Africa or Central Africa, who wrote to me in my inbox and she told me, Diana, from the time I had double mastectomy, I had never accepted myself. I felt ugly. But when I started seeing you on TikTok, I have found myself at a different point. I now accept myself and I now don't care what people think about me. And that has been my mission. For people to know, for women to know that they are beautiful even without their breasts. The other part of the breast that is not for mammary purposes is a part that society has put. And you can live your life above society. If you allow society to dictate everything about it, then you will find it very hard to accept yourself. You will find it very hard to accept yourself. In the recovery, there is a process of denial, then acceptance. But when you start accepting it half and half, then that still is not acceptance. Now, there are cases that, okay, this is early stage cancer, stage 1, stage 2, I can go for reconstruction and all that. But there is something that I've always wanted to touch, but I've tried to refrain a bit, because there's a certain point where, depending on the margin, depending on how big the margin is, and this one I'm just talking, not when I talk out from research, from reading, I tell you this from research. But now this is from my own common sense. It is not. I will not tell you this from any research that I've read. This is not from research. This is from my common sense. And this is from what I learned when they told me, you know what, we are not going to give you radiation because the margin was big. And I'm like, please give me radiation. I need radiation. He said, no, we are not giving you radiation. You're not a candidate. And they had to explain to me the margin. This and this margin. Now, guess what, guys? If, and I want you to answer this question. If you are somebody that has a big margin, and I already explained to you the margin. You have a big margin, meaning from the point that the breast was cut, this cut place and that other cut place. This other cut place, the tumor is far away next to the nipple, maybe. So it is far from where it was cut. Is that person in a good position to have breast reconstructed and maybe silicone put, or they take fats from here and they put there? Is that person at a good point? Yes or no? That is what my common sense tells me also. My common sense tells me yes. Because if that is replaced by reconstruction, there is high likelihood that there is no cancer on that surface. Okay? So there is no time soon that, you'll be told, oh, we have to take these things out again. There's something inside. However, if the doctors tell you that surgery has been done and there is a very tiny margin, meaning it is highly likely that there is some cancer cells on the surface. Even if I go to radiation with that, can you tell me what me in my mind will do? I don't know if our minds reason together. Is that a good person for reconstruction or not? No. Thank you. Common sense, guys. Common sense. And I hope that, and we've said this is just common sense because they taught me about margins. And margins are common sense, right? But guess what? You find somebody who the margin is so small, meaning there is cancer on the surface, then they take that person to radiation. And then guess what? That person, I'm going to do reconstruction. I'm going to do reconstruction. You know what? It is easier to remain like this. It is easier to check yourself when you go to the shower. It is easier. You don't want to go back to that mess of cancer treatment quickly. That thing is hell on earth. That thing hurts. That thing depresses. It depresses. Something you need to know is this. Breast reconstruction is marketed so much and people are pushed to have it because plastic surgeons need their money. It's not like they all the time they want good for you. Yes, your oncologist wants good for you. Like my oncologist wants good for me. I love her, Dr. Oki. She's my best. My surgeon was my best. But at that point where I said, I want you to take this breast and leave me alone. At the point where they started pushing me towards reconstruction, at the point where they started pushing me, I started smelling a rat. I started smelling a rat. I'm like, why are you pushing me towards reconstruction and I've told you I don't want breasts? I have told you take them off and leave me alone. Then the reasons they give me, oh, but you're still young, you're under 40. Is that a reason? Is that a reason? That's not a reason. Who said if I am under 40, I have to get breast reconstruction? Who said so? And I'm not against reconstruction. I'm just talking about me with my mind because all these things you have to make up in your mind. Cancer treatment is mostly about making the right decision quickly. So for me, my right decision at that point was I did not want breast. But Doctors, if you're listening to me, we know that it is teamwork. We know that you work as a team. So if the breast oncologist has her own money, then the breast surgeon also gets her own money. Why do they leave their colleague, the plastic surgeon, without money? Why do they leave their colleague, the plastic surgeon, without money? So they have to push all patients to get reconstruction, because that is a money business. Now, if you guys looked at my profile, I posted news about a doctor that was found to falsely diagnose women with breast cancer. He diagnoses people falsely with breast cancer, and then, because he knows the cancer treatment, chemotherapy, and all that is a lot of money. But he was caught. And there were so many women that found out that they actually did not have breast cancer. They did not have cancer at all. But this man lied to them. Now, also, for mastectomy, if you're not the one who is making your choice, okay, you have to really check, do you really need mastectomy or not? There are people who are actually forced and lied to get mastectomy so that they can get reconstruction. So you have to really be aware. For instance, if you are somebody with maybe stage 1 of cancer, or even stage 0, and the tumor is very far away from the margin, and the tumor is tiny, 0 point, very tiny, and the tumor is very low grade, very low grade, and I've covered all those important things, right? Very low grade tumor, very far away from the margin. What else did we say? Low grade, far from margin, small size, okay, and early stage. So you have all this, and then you want to keep your breast, right? If you have all this, and then of course maybe estrogen, not triple negative, estrogen, right? Estrogen type. If you have those qualities and you want to keep your breast, and you're being told, no, it is good for you to, and then it's not genetic. Oh, I forgot, not genetic, okay? Not genetic, early stage 01, small size, 0, very tiny, low grade, very low grade, and I've said not genetic. That is a cancer that does not need mastectomy. That is something that does not need mastectomy, because breast cancers are different. Many people assume that because this person has breast cancer and that one has breast cancer, oh, everything should be the same. You find somebody saying, oh, do not go for chemotherapy because I know another woman in the village who also had breast cancer, and they have lived 50 years and they did not do chemotherapy. Different. Cancer is people's genes, your own cells, body cells. So nobody's cells are the same. That's why our thumbs are different. Our fingerprints are different. Let nobody lie to you and tell you because another person did not have chemotherapy, you should also not have chemotherapy. That other person could have been estrogen and you are triple negative. That other person could have been stage 0 and you are stage 3. That other person could have been far away from the margin and you are very close to the margin. That other person could have not been genetic and you are genetic. Do you see these things? Cancer lessons from someone who has experienced it. When I talk, I know what I say is different from what the doctors tell you, because they tell you the truth. However, they tell you the truth from books that they've studied. But people like me, we tell you the truth from experience. We tell you the truth from experience. So mark your notes. If you have a loved one who's just been diagnosed, if you have a friend who's just been diagnosed, if you have just been diagnosed, and this is to all cancers, there is grade, stage, genetic or not. Size of tumor. Those are things that really matter. So woman, do not also allow a doctor to force you into mastectomy when you do not want it, because you have these qualities that I've talked about. If you have the qualities I've talked about, do not be pushed into mastectomy, because you are actually being pushed in order for plastic surgery to happen. And you know, in our world, you know the cost of plastic surgery. You know the cost of plastic surgery. And you know how much the doctors put in their pocket. They put in quite a lot. Quite a lot. So I hope that the information that we have learned today is going to benefit someone who has been listening. Above all, please, the breast is not part of the reproductive system. The breast is not part of the reproductive system. A woman without breast can still get pregnant. And that leads me to something that, of course, you've all seen. You have seen women who have transitioned to be men. They now identify as men, as a male. But those people, they still, some of them have not taken their uterus out yet. Did you see in the news? There's a woman who transitioned into being a man, but they still had the uterus. So they took out all the breast. However, they still got pregnant. And I saw one here, I think he was here on TikTok. Was he on TikTok? Carrying the baby and breastfeeding, but here he was a man. Okay? So that tells you where the reproductive system is. So do not allow anybody to lie to you. Women, I know that many of you do as the Bible says, respecting your husband and all that. However, when it comes to your life and when it comes to your health, please, can you put yourself first? When it comes to your health, can you respectfully, mark and underline, can you respectfully put yourself first? Do not let your husband decide if you are keeping your breast or not. In a case where the tumor was close to the margin, it is later stage, it is very aggressive. Do not let the husband hold on to your breast just because he wants to suck it at foreplay. Then he will suck it for 2 months and you'll be gone. Then he will go look for another one. Please, love yourself and put yourself first. So thank you guys for being great and for listening. What I love to do is to share knowledge.